Well, a little spring goes a long way, and with Easter just a week away, we are helping you usher in a few bunnies, flowers, and other spring lovelies to get a great little bit of bliss in your own home. Kristen Albert, the owner of Domestic Bliss in Mesa and Found Design, is with us today with a couple of, well, I should say more than a couple, a lot of ideas and some great inspiration. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm standing so far away. I'm not trying to be a bad host.
No.
I just don't want to block the stuff that I know everybody is interested in looking at. So where do we start when we're trying to do this, and especially if we're trying to do it for Easter with such a short window of time?
Right.
Open
well,
to
a lot
us.
of people already own a lot of Easter, pieces that they like to bring out in the spring. So our focus lately has been on trying to use what you already have or bring in things that will last not only just for Easter but through the spring. So I like to start with, of course, spring cleaning and editing what you already have, and kind of going through and taking away all the heavy, maybe velvets and heavier fabrics that you have in the house, maybe in pillows, and lightening up with like a linen or something that has a fun print.
It seems like the linen and the burlap, you're seeing a lot of that.
Yes, we have a lot of burlap and a lot of solids. I mean, I kind of went crazy with the prints and the florals today just to kind of give you an idea of all the fun patterns that are out there. But burlap and linen is always great because you don't get tired of it. You can use it with everything.
So we spring clean, and we make sure that we get out all the kind of the heavier stuff.
Right.
And then we invite in spring, with some fragrances too of spring as well.
I mean, I went to Trader Joe's, which of course is the greatest for fresh flowers. If you want to pick up something, I mean, $6.99 for hydrangeas. I mean, if you go to yes, for a real live hydrangea plant. So I always hit up Trader Joe's. My favorite spot to pick up some fresh flowers. Daffodils are $1.29 a bunch. I didn't pick up any of those today, but you can throw those into almost any decor. And
so bringing in the fresh flowers, literally, to create that fragrance and to create that kind of feeling of spring.
Yep.
Do we do it in big vases, or do we do like little, how do you do it? Because I'm seeing both. I'm seeing this, and then I'm seeing down here at the all the way at the end. I'm in the shop.
When you talked about burlap, we have these little burlap bags, which are really fun. I didn't put one out today, but I even get herbs and put them in these just in the kitchen, and it's really fun, and it just adds that life and color. I mean, if you don't want to do live plants, you can do preserved plants or topiaries that are a little more natural than the typical fake plant. Balls or twiggy kind of items. Anything that brings that natural element into the house is always nice for spring.
Well, and I'm noticing the color palette here is kind of like that lime green and, like a tan and a white, but then you've got this splash of color right here.
Right.
Is that by design, or is that just...
I just brought that in thinking, well, the pillow with a little pink, I mean, maybe you don't want to go totally crazy with the color. A lot of, especially husbands, don't like a lot of pink, but it's fun to bring in just a little splash, and you can do that with flowers or pillow or a little throw or something like that. I love green because it's a soothing, soothing color. You see it outdoors, bringing the outside in. We just use a lot of green and natural elements.
Well, and it seems like one of my favorite magazines, and I'm sure it is yours too, is Ballard Designs. And it seems like they have a lot of this color this season. Is this kind of like the big color this season? You
know what's funny? We're seeing a lot of every color. I mean, blue, which typically isn't a big color in Arizona, it's everywhere. Citrus colors, like the ladies had on earlier. I mean, people just want a little bit of something special in the house. So if you don't want to go crazy and get a big pattern on a couch or a chair, you can always bring in just a fun pillow like the lattice design or
and I'm even noticing that you're kind of bringing truly the natural elements into the decor, literally a little nest in a box, which I think I might have to have.
Aren't those cute?
Oh my gosh, I love
I know,
nests,
we just got those in. So birds, nests.
Can you do overkill though on that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean you can. You kind of have to, the same thing with the editing, you kind of have to look at spaces as you're going along and saying, okay, I have a little too much of this going on. Sometimes people find one thing that they love and they just keep doing it over and over, and it's like, okay, you need to,
I did that with crosses and wrought iron at one point in my house, and then I had to go and get some of that down. It was a little overkill. Now, speak to the people that maybe are at home going, here's the deal. I don't have the light colors in my home. I have the traditional dark colors. What's your best advice to go ahead and blend in this stuff but not have it look so contrasting, or is that okay?
We are having so many people come in right now that are trying to transition out of the darker, heavier, Tuscan, style, and they're trying to, they're just so overwhelmed.
I'm part of that club.
And it's hard because you feel like you can't just put a little bit of this in your house. But you really can, I mean, starting like what you said about the natural linens, burlaps, those kind of, you know, shades that already blend in with the darker hues.
Okay.
And then you just kind of gradually, you know, look at each piece individually and think, do you love that piece? You know, say it's your couch and you don't want to buy a whole new couch. Look at different things in your home. Maybe a lamp that's heavy and it has a lot of trims and velvets. Maybe you want to lighten it up with just something that's a little bit more neutral and gradually, you know, and we can help with that too.
And you can, because you've got Found Design,
Yes.
which also helps people with the interior design.
Yes.
And then you can go to Domestic Bliss in historical downtown Mesa, right?
Right, and we're right in the same building. So we have our home design and furniture, found objects in one store, and then Domestic Bliss, which has kind of all this fluffy fun thing, you know, fluffy fun stuff, and the gifts and you know, things for the holidays. And
well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
Kristen,
you.
I think I'll come over here next to you.
All right.
Because now I've been away from you too long. All right, we've got all of her information available online, as well as these tips, and make sure you click over to their website, because they have all sorts of classes as well that you can learn a little bit more. Andy?